Hey there, it's Sharon Pope. I want to talk to you today about why the divorce rates continue to increase and why women are actually the driving force behind those increases. There was a study that was done in 2015 by the American Sociological Association that said that 70% of the divorces are being initiated by women. Now, if that doesn't shock you enough, 70%, if the woman was college educated, that number went to 90% of the divorces are being initiated by women. There was also a study done by AARP that said that 66% of the divorces taking place for couples who were over 50 years of age were being initiated by women. Now, these are studies from years ago, and I can only imagine that those numbers have increased just in the last few years, right? And think about that. Think about that compared to, say, our parents' generation and their marriage, right? A woman, if she was unhappy in her marriage, it really wasn't a viable option for her to just end the marriage. The reality of it was that women still needed a husband and a man for providing and for protecting, right? They needed the financial security and they needed them for social status. So it was not an easy thing to do. Not that it's easy today by any stretch of the imagination, but think about it, right? So my parents got married in the late 60s. I was born in 71. So during that time, a woman couldn't get a loan. Now there was a law that was enacted that said women can have their own checking account and women can have a loan. But the reality is that most banks did not want to loan to women. Why? Because they were a greater risk. Why were they a greater risk? Because they couldn't find work to the same degree or as easily as a man could, and they wouldn't get paid as much as a man, right? So they had that dynamic going on. So as I think about my mother's generation, which, by the way, my parents are still married today, but if she wanted to leave, well, how was she would need to find a job, which she could very, very easily, but she wouldn't get paid as much as my dad. And how would she raise the kids? Like, unless she had a really close by solid support system, how was she going to go to work and take care of the kids? That's not an easy thing. Plus, she probably would have been ostracized from a lot of her family, maybe, but certainly friendships, right? Because a lot of her friends were all married and they were friends as couples, right? And if she went to church, a lot of the people that she would go to church with, they were married. So it wasn't a very common thing back then for women to be divorced. So they might be ostracized from their social circle. And then lastly, they probably held the belief that the kids would suffer. If she chose to divorce, the kids would not have as much. They would have less, and therefore they would have less opportunities in their lives. So here's the issue. Today, it is women that want more inside their most intimate relationship than our mother's generation did, right? Our mother's generation wanted the security and the safety and the predictability. And we still want that. But now, if we don't need you to provide for us, and we're not really in danger, so we don't need you to protect us, then what we need to remain in a marriage over the long term is something very different. It's things like a deep connection. It's desire that exists in the relationship. And it's probably a feeling of being seen and deeply understood, right? But think about it. Those weren't things that men learned about what it means to be a husband because their fathers did not have the same expectation. And so this, I think, is one of the reasons why we are really, really struggling inside of our marriages today, right? So if we are going to make our marriages last, I think we've got to get equipped for marriage as it is today. We can't just rely on what we saw our parents do because we are living and existing in a completely different time. So we've got to get equipped with better tools. And we've got to sort of evolve and step up our game for the expectations of what we want in our most intimate relationship today. All right, so to that end, I have something I want to share with you, and that is that next week I am launching my brand new book. It is called In Love, the 21 Relationship Secrets for When You Have Love for Him, but you are no longer in love with him. If you have ever thought that thought, or said those words, I want you to know this book is just for you. Like, you will love it. You will gain so much from it. Now, I'm going to be sharing this book next week. It's not available today. It'll be available next week, the week of July the 18th. But I want you to be the first to know about it. And here's why. During that first week that we launch the book, I'm going to offer it to you at a discounted price. Plus, I'm going to give you some special bonuses. But it's only going to be available, the bonuses and the discount is only going to be available for 1 week, right? So if you want to make sure that you don't miss that, then I want you to go to inlovewaitlist.com. Put your name and email on that list, and you will be the first to be offered that book and gain access to the information, but you will also get the discount and all the bonus material. I don't want you to miss out on that. So go to inlovewaitlist.com and just add your name and look for an email to come from us Sunday night.